Good morning, ladies. Thank you very much for coming to see me today. How are you?
We're great. Thank you so much, Senator Sample, for taking the time out. We certainly appreciate it. We wanted to take some time this morning to advocate for kidney cancer research funding. My name is Megan Muntz. I am in Louisiana, and I was touched by kidney cancer. My husband was diagnosed with kidney cancer 5 years ago, and unfortunately passed away rather quickly, leaving me a widow for my two children, Kelsey and Zachary. I did some research in my grief and found out that there actually had not been any funding for kidney cancer before 2017, and found out about KidneyCAN and thought it was something important to be involved in. So I've been advocating with them for 2 years now. So I wanted to briefly introduce myself. We also have Maggie with us, and Maggie is one of your constituents, and I wanted to give her the floor for her to share her personal experience with kidney cancer.
Well, thank you, Megan. Good morning,
Good morning,
Maggie.
Senator Sample. Good morning. My story is similar to Megan's, as a lot of our stories are. My husband was diagnosed in 2016, and it showed up as a spot. It was found accidentally, and that seems to be the way most of us are discovered, or the cancer is discovered. And I'm very grateful we had the urologist that my husband was going to is part of a tumor board here in Oklahoma, and he connected us with a oncologist that specializes in kidney cancer. And we are very fortunate because most people don't have that avenue. And so I will touch on that we're going to also ask for the support of the telehealth bill, because this is something so important, especially since we're in Oklahoma. And as you know, we have a lot of rural people. We need to be able to give them this avenue to be able to reach and find oncologists that have the up-to-date information on kidney cancer and the best ways to treat it. There's multiple options, thankfully, because of the research. It's not, people have more options. And so we want to continue that because the cure has not been found yet. So we're not only looking for quality of life improvement, but we're also looking for a cure. Now, my husband, when he was diagnosed, as I said, it was found accidentally. And but he had a partial nephrectomy, so just part of his kidney was removed with the tumor. And at the time we were told we had clear margins. It was encapsulated. So it kind of went to the back burner. It was kind of like, oh, okay, we're done. Well, in most cases, it's not done. It will come back. And in less than 2 years, it had metastasized to his lungs. And he is still fighting the fight. And I am grateful. The very first treatment that he had was a drug trial. And so the doctors and nurses focused on him and the recovery. And he was able to stay on that drug trial for about 8 months. We are now in his 5th and 6th treatment method. And that's another reason for the research. We've got to figure out why some treatments work for some people and why it stops working for other people. So there's a great need. My husband is, like I said, he's still fighting the fight. He's lost a lot of weight. We've had a couple near-death episodes, but he has bounced back. And I also, like Megan, I didn't understand kidney cancer, really hadn't heard of it. And so I began to investigate, and I also found KidneyCAN. And I'm just so grateful for your time today to understand the big need. My husband is Choctaw, I'm Cherokee, and research is showing that a lot of our Native Americans have an occurrence of kidney cancer higher than other citizens. Also, my husband is military, ex-military, and we have a son that was in Iraq. So we're not only concerned about what exposures they had back when they were active in military, but how that exposure is going to affect them going forward. So our military, our Native Americans, it's very important that we continue the research so that we can put an end to this.
Well, thank you very much. And I am very sorry indeed to hear both your story and Megan's story. Obviously, this disease has hit your families very hard. And I also want to thank you and your family for your service to the United States. Maggie, that's very important too. But kidney cancer isn't a disease that I'm familiar with. I've heard of cancer, of course, but what sort of a problem is this? Obviously, for you personally, it's a problem, but for the country, how much of a problem is it really?
Do you want to take that, Megan?
I will take that. So kidney cancer is, it's a rare cancer, but it's one of the top 10 cancers in the country that people are diagnosed with. There's no sort of screening that's being done on a regular basis for kidney cancer. My husband, his was found, he had a cough that wouldn't go away, and they finally did an ultrasound and they found it. And then Maggie's husband, they also found it when they were looking for something else. And so that's how most people find out about kidney cancer. And then by that point, it's progressed rather to, stage 4 or stage 3. And then the survival rates are very, very low for it once it gets to that point. And so there's that aspect of it, that it has a low survival rate because of that. And then also, Maggie touched on it a bit, is that our military are more predisposed to getting kidney cancer. So one of our asks is $60 million for the CDMRP, which goes to the Department of Defense. And the reason we ask for that funding through the Department of Defense is because our military are more prone to these diseases. In 2022, we had the PACT Act that had a registry where the military were able to get on those that had been mostly in the Middle East, and they are automatically going to be screened for kidney cancer as one of the kidney cancers. So whether that's exposure to the burn pits, or we don't exactly know, but we know those environmental exposures definitely are causing our military to come down with kidney cancer.
And is there any screening at the moment for kidney cancer? I know that as women, we have mastectomies regularly, mammograms regularly, of course, and men have prostate cancer screening regularly. Is there screening for kidney cancer available?
So no, so that's some of the research that we are advocating for, and hoping that we get people applying for grants for, is to find, so breast cancer you brought up, so we would talk about, say, the BRCA gene that you're able to test for. We don't know what we're looking for yet with kidney cancer. We haven't figured out what makes it unique. So therefore there is no testing for it. So most of them are found in screening, so ultrasound, and then you do an MRI to do advanced imaging for that.
I see.
So that's how it's found ancillary when you're looking for something else. Some go for kidney stones and they say, oh, that's actually a growth on your kidney, or they're looking for you check for everything, but you're looking for, say, gallstones or something like that, and you would find it if someone was having abdominal pain or symptoms.
Well, to go back to the funding, you mentioned the CDMRP program that I am a little bit familiar with, but isn't there funding through the NIH already for kidney cancer research?
Yes, so we're actually asking for $51 billion also for the NIH. And so the CDMRP funding, and there's no overlap between it. We don't fund grants from both areas, but the CDMRP tends to be more high risk, high reward. And obviously, if you're facing kidney cancer, you want to have the top of the line that you can have for that, whereas the NIH has more different prerogatives within their research as to what they're able to be working on.
I see. Now, you both mentioned KidneyCAN. That's an organization I'm not familiar with. Could you explain to me a little bit about what you're trying to do with that organization?
So KidneyCAN is an organization that was started with the idea of advocating for kidney cancer research funding. As I said, in 2016, when Maggie's husband was diagnosed, there was no specific funding for kidney cancer research. So that's the big thing that we do. We also have a website and Facebook profiles, social media profiles, where we have town hall meetings, and we have our doctors that come in and let patients know what's going on for that. And I mean, our big thing we're doing is that we are screening for, and we're funding grants for these researchers that are applying for it, for them. And we have a yearly meeting, usually in Boston, where we have researchers in the field that present on their findings, and we have doctors that come in and let us know about what's coming on the forefront. So since that money has started to come in, we are making great strides in the work that we're able to do. So one of the biggest things that's been in there is the finding of immunotherapy working for kidney cancer. And so you would traditionally know about, say, chemotherapy, where we kill everything in the body. Immunotherapy actually boosts your T cells in your own body, and they're able to eat the cancer. And so, so that has been groundbreaking and drastically changing. When my husband was diagnosed in 2018, we were getting ready to get onto immunotherapy, and it had just come off of clinical trial. And so more advances in different immunotherapies that we're able to provide. So it may have a high mortality rate, but we have people living longer with kidney cancer, and it becomes more like a chronic illness. And so if you have different types of therapies that are available, there's still side effects for immunotherapy. So if you say you have someone that starts one immunotherapy and their quality of life is not good, and again, we want to live a long time, but we're living with cancer, having something else that they can go on that will keep the tumors from growing is very, very important, as we have people living longer with kidney cancer and all different types of cancers. So the immunotherapy that we are using is kidney cancer is a vascular cancer. So other types of cancers that are also vascular, they are immunotherapies working for them also. So skin cancer is an example of we have a immunotherapy that just came off of clinical trial, and now we're going to be able to use it for kidney cancer also, but it started in melanoma research. So there's a lot of symbiotic relationship going on. Money that goes to kidney cancer is not just going to be working for kidney cancer. As we have breakthroughs in what we're able to use, it trickles down.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for coming in. And certainly I take your point about the telehealth, Maggie, in rural areas, especially when people are elderly and the population of this country is getting older. It's very hard to travel long distances, as well as being expensive and very time consuming. So telehealth is certainly something that I'm looking at, but there are a large number of proposals regarding telehealth, and at the moment we're still trying to sort out which is the best to move ahead. But thank you very much. Do you have some asks or a leave behind information that you could send me? I think something did come a couple of days ago, but I'm not quite sure what happened to it.
Yeah, we can make sure that you get that left behind sent before. So Maggie, do you want to go over the ask?
Certainly, and I want to just also make a point with the CDRM funding that we're asking for, the grants, or when the applications come in. Kidney cancer is one of the few forums that allows an advocate, either a patient or a caregiver, to be on the review board, so that as the petitions or applications come in, someone that's living the kidney cancer life gets to have their input on this also. And I think I've heard positive remarks from the doctors and researchers that, it's nice that they are reminded They're not just working on a petri dish or whatever. They see a face that is directly affected. And so that's been very beneficial. And that's something within the applications just from the funding of the CDRM, not within the NIH. So
I see.
So that's a very good, I think it's very important, and not to forget why they're working so hard and looking for the cure or for longevity. So for our ask for the CDRM that we are asking this year, this fiscal year, for 60 million. And the NIH we know is asking for 51 billion. But as Megan said, this is not in competition, but they complement each other. So there's not double dipping going on.
Right.
There's a very, very good screening to prevent that. So it's just, this is a focus on for our veterans, for all kidney cancer patients. And then the other ask is for the telehealth, is for, making that decision on which proposal is the best, but remembering with us, with so many rural areas in Oklahoma, and not only in Oklahoma and other parts of the world, that we're looking for that type of support. Megan, have I forgotten anything on our ask?
We're always asking to make sure that the patient voice is always considered in all things measures, not just this funding that we're asking for, but certainly that it's important, obviously, to have those that are being affected by health issues to have robust input in any sort of legislation that you're able to put forward.
Well, thank you very much indeed. That's all been very helpful and very informative as well. And I will certainly take that into consideration as we move forward. And I certainly hope to see you both again, and wish you and your family all the best, Maggie, and of course yours too, Megan. And I'm very sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.